I was playing The Outer Worlds 2 and I noticed there was a lot of stuttering. And I know that I've got a pretty old PC here, i5-8600K, but it's got a 3070 Ti graphics card to it, so I thought it would have enough power to play this game in 1080p around 60 frames per second. And what I found was this Nexus Mods Outer Worlds optimized tweaks, and if we look at what this mod does, it says here, this mod changes many Unreal Engine variables, which the game developers mostly left at their default values, resulting in the mentioned improvements. Remarkably, in some areas of the game, it might even slightly increase your FPS, depending on your hardware and settings. I wanted to see if that worked, but I also needed to have a way to measure my frames per second to see how the game's performing. I could go by feel, but that's not very accurate. So what I wanted to do was try out the Steam overlay options to get that performance information in. So what I can share here now, in-game, I've gone ahead and enabled the Steam overlay while in the game, and then if I scroll down in this overlay performance monitor, I've also enabled the overlay performance monitor in the top right hand corner, and I can turn it off with the page up button, which is configurable. I could come in here and change it to page down if I want, or any button really, but I'm going to leave it on page up because that's not a button that I'm using in the game, and I'll cancel it so it stays where it was. I can also set the performance information, and right now I've got it set to just show full details. Let's go back to here. It says in order to install the mod, we need to download it from the main files, extract the pack folder, and put it into an Arkansas Content Packs Mods folder. And if I go to Outer Worlds 2 in Steam, go to the gear icon next to it, manage, browse local files, and then I can find Arkansas and Content and Packs. And I had to create this mods folder earlier, but for now it's empty because I want to try out the game without it in there. And then later on I've got the pack file I can move in to see how it plays. I'm going to go ahead and close this window, and I'm going to start Outer Worlds without the mod and see how it plays with the overlay. Here we are in the game, and we can see at the top our CPU usage is 80%-ish. Our frames per second are in the 55, 51, 46, 39, and they just seem to go all over the place. They're not very, what's the word? Stable. That's the word. So we see 45 there. We're just running around seeing how it goes. Then we'll stop and just pan over. And you can see there's a lot of frame dips. You can see in that the graph next to it where the frames drop and come back up. I think that's good for now. We can see we're using 10 gigs of RAM. The GPU is sitting around 60% usage, and the CPU is sitting around 73%. And if we go look at my settings currently, I've got it set mostly to the mediums and highs. I've got visual effects set to low and shadows set to medium. And I'm going to leave all this the way it is already. Let me quit out. I'm going to take the optimized tweaks base pack from my downloads folder, and I'm going to drop it into my Arkansas Content Packs Mods folder. So we'll drag this up there. We'll say move here. We will start the game again. Now we're loaded up in the game with the mod active, and if we start wandering around, we see that there still is frame drops. We got to the 44s, the 57s, the 60. Now we're standing pretty. So this seems a lot more steady. There's still dips, but I feel like they are not as bad. We haven't hit the 30s yet, and sometimes we get to 60 and stay there, which is something that doesn't happen with the regular mod. So I wanted to show the mod itself and how it worked. Notice that we're a little bit higher on RAM than we used to be. It said that it was going to load more into memory and keep it there, but since we're running Bazzite, the RAM usage isn't over the top. So that's what I wanted to show. I think my frames are slightly more stable now. Let's go over here and see. So drop to 40 and 44, 35, 40. So there's still a lot of variety to the frames. It seems a lot better whenever I'm standing here than whenever I'm standing over here. And I'm not quite sure why. I should have come to stand over here while the mod was off as well to see if it causes this. 39s and 38s. Could be because there's a lot more things going on in this section here, including the rift. But I am going to leave the mod in place because I feel like it does help keep the frames more steady than whenever it's not in place. And that's what I wanted to show. Thanks for watching.